Well, it's just persistency, hard work, and determination. But with all these things, you need to have a vision and also strategy to achieve the vision. And I think that really that's what we have. Boldness in terms of taking calculated risk in areas where hardly people go and invest. We normally take up challenge to see how we can invest and develop our continent. If you look at exactly what happened in other areas, in Asia, in Middle East and co, majority of what's being developed there is developed by their own entrepreneurs. They didn't wait for Chinese or for Koreans to come and develop their own economy. So we have to do it. And not only that, we do it in our own individual homes, we have to do it across the continent. And that is why I believe I have very, very high confidence, especially on sub-Saharan Africa. Things are changing. We're finding every day different types of mineral resources, from oil, from coal, from iron ore, you name it. Almost everything is being found in Africa. This is what the reforms have actually paid off in the last 10 years. Well, like what I told you, the way that we operate as a company, especially in Dangote, is like what I said. We have a vision. That vision, we have a strategy of how we are going to achieve the vision, which we do normally over a period of 5 years. Like today, we know where we are going. Even this investment that I announced of $400 million here, I didn't just sit down on my own and just say it. It is part of our strategic plan to invest in Kenya. And we've been working very hard to look at areas where to go and invest, especially in cement. So it's part of this. And we are spending total about $16 billion. I'm sure maybe you must have read in the news 2 days ago, we signed with some commercial banks building a refinery of petrochemicals and fertilizer, worth $9 billion. Will achieve finishing in the next 3 years, which means we'll finish maybe third or fourth quarter of 2016, which is a world record. It is extremely big. It's going to increase the manufacturing contribution to Nigeria's GDP. And these are areas that we want to really replicate and do in other African countries. If you look at it, the only country that we're not in Eastern Africa, which is a pity, is Kenya. And you cannot be in East African community to do any business without being here in Kenya, because Kenya is the largest economy in East Africa, in West Africa. So combining these two is actually going to help sub-Saharan Africa and also Africa as a continent. We're investing $9 billion. Dangote Industries, which is the parent company, has put in $3.5 billion. The commercial banks in Nigeria and also 2 commercial banks outside Nigeria, Standard Chartered Bank, of UK, and Rand Merchant Bank, they are also part of the consortium. They have also assisted, and we have raised with them $3.3 billion. And so, which means, we already have about 6.8 thereabout. And then we have the DFIs, which is, Development Financial Institutions, which also includes our own central bank, which gave us about $350 million thereabout in local currency, about 50 billion naira at 7% for 15 years. And then we have the IFC. They're also coming in with their own money. We're talking to them at about $500 million, and with other, possibly ADB. And if you look at the other side, we're also getting part of the 2.25 billion will come from export credit agencies like the US Exim and co. So we're fully covered on this 9 billion, and that's why we didn't come out to even announce the investment or try and do anything until when we really got our own equity in hand, when we are about concluding with the banks. Now we inform the government, and within 3 weeks, we agree on all the agreements. You know, lawyers, they have to do their own bit, which they did. Now we have signed, and we can draw the money tomorrow. But we don't need to, because we already have 3.5 billion of our own money, which we have not been able to exhaust yet. Now, in Nigeria, because the oil, happened in 1956, which means almost 57 years ago. With that, then we have a lot of experience. It is like part and parcel of our lives. So I think it is something that will teach and also train your people here to understand how to also do bidding for blogs, how to do quite a lot, because we'll be more open to tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't do, because we've gone through the cycle. And being, our fellow brothers and sisters, we feel very much obliged, just like what I said during the lunch, that now, apart from being brothers and sisters, now we have actually become a family. It's like we had a wedding reception this afternoon, wedding of getting the two of us together. We have now become one family. Once you go and get a wife, it means that, yes, she's now part and parcel of that, this. And so this is a relationship that we have, and I think this relationship will definitely outlive all of us, and we will hand it over to the next generation when we are done with it. And I'm sure the trade between Nigeria and Kenya, especially in the petroleum side, will help. We too, Kenya will help us a lot in developing our own tourism, because there is a lot of potential. We have a lot of beaches, especially towards the western and some southern part of the country. So with that, what you have in Kenya, you'll be able to help and teach us exactly what to do with our tourism industry. I mean, you look at it, you are lucky. At the beginning, you didn't have oil, so tourism is a big factor here. So what we are trying to do, we too are now trying to be also different, not to rely on the oil, but to rebase the revenue base of our economy, diversification of the economy. By the diversification, we believe that, yes, tourism will be one of our key issues. And that's why we're looking at all these visa issues and whatever, to make sure that we make things happen without really having any roadblocks. Right now, you remember that there were some licenses that were given by the previous administration, which was cancelled. And now we've started the process, and the president has assured me personally that we'll get all these things done, that we should please roll out quickly. I can assure you, as soon as everything is done, we'll do a break-in this before the year runs out. And, we will, the kind of investment that we're making here, or we're going to make, is not an investment where we're just going to set up a grinding mill and be importing clinker to grind. No. Every single material that we use for the production of cement, about 1.5 million tons, will be sourced locally here in Kenya. So the question of foreign exchange does not even arise at all. If we need any foreign exchange, maybe just for our spare parts. But without that, I guarantee you that we will not touch $1 single or take $1 single out of Kenya.